Louisiana State University goes to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Alabama is going to be favored by 3 points on this game. LSU boasts, for my money, one of the best offenses in the country. I would put it up there, definitely top 5. Any number you want to look at for offense, LSU's really, really good. Got an experienced quarterback in Daniels. Got some really good wide receivers in this LSU room. As far as pass catchers go, I'd put LSU and Georgia. If Georgia's got Brock Powers, I'd put them hand in hand. I think those two teams have the best pass catchers in the SEC and a couple of the best groups in the country. But LSU averages 552 yards a game, 339 in the air, 213, basically 340 in the air and 213 on the ground. Here's kind of my take on the game. I don't think Alabama's going to be able to keep up with these fools. And I know LSU's defense is really, really bad. And I'm not saying LSU's gonna blow Alabama away, because I don't think that LSU has the ability to put a team away, in the sense that you would need to blow somebody out. So I don't think this is by any means a blowout. The over-under is set at 60.5. So obviously Vegas is agreeing with me that that there's going to be a lot of points scored here. I don't know that I agree with the 60.5 because, well, I guess I do. Both teams are going to score, but if it's over 60.5, LSU is definitely going to win the game. Because, I think this game is going to look a lot like the LSU and Missouri game. I think Alabama and Missouri are pretty comparable. Now, obviously, Alabama's got a better defense, but with all that being said, I don't think this defense is going to be able to slow this LSU team down enough to hold them to a low enough margin. This is, again, another SEC game in which I say the first 1 to 30 is going to win this game. And I think LSU can win this game 35-28. I think that's a very, very good possibility. This one's going to be all about, can Alabama run the ball consistently and move the chains and keep this LSU defense off the field? Because I don't think there's a defense in the country that's going to be able to shut this LSU team down. So can the Alabama run game take advantage of a defense that has been absolutely horrid under Brian Kelly this year? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be able to take advantage of them to the tune that they would need to take down LSU. So give me the Tigers here. I'm sticking with my original SEC West champion prediction, and I think LSU wins this game, and I think LSU's got a really good shot to go win the West and go to Atlanta again for the second year in a row to face Georgia for the second year in a row. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on this huge SEC West matchup taking place in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, it is huge. We've got the LSU Alabama game that is seemingly going to decide the West. I think Ole Miss fans would still have something to say about that. And then you've got on the other side, you've got the East matchup going on with Georgia and Missouri, which will almost certainly decide the East. So it's a big week for college football.
Nut cutting time, brother.
That's right. It is nut cutting time. But all right. So in this game, you've got, unit-wise, you've got a really good LSU offense versus a really good Bama defense, right? And then you've got a pretty bad LSU defense, probably putting it lightly, against a pretty bad Bama offense. Again, probably putting it lightly. It's kind of it's definitely good on good when we see LSU's offense versus Bama's defense. As of late in the past 5 years or so, we've seen that offense is typically the unit that wins in those matchups. And then, again, pretty bad defense for LSU versus pretty bad Bama offense. Now, LSU's defense has played better the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That was against Auburn and Army. Auburn, I mean, that had some weight to it. And then they shut Army out, which is not easy to do, with that style of offense that they play.
Right.
Alabama's not running that style of offense, so it doesn't really translate. It doesn't correlate to what Bama tries to do. But I do think that it was pretty important that they have that confidence builder heading into a bye week.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Bama, on the other hand, their defense has given up at least 20 points against mediocre offenses in each of the last 3 games, while only producing on average 28 points in that same span. So Bama has really kind of been sliding. It's kind of bizarre to me that the national media is looking at Bama, and of course they're winning. So we've moved them up in our rankings because of that as well. But the national media is kind of behind Bama and saying like they're getting better and better. Watch out. But this is a team that just a few weeks ago beat Arkansas by what was it, 3 or 4 points.
Yeah.
So what are
and
we?
Tennessee honestly probably should have beat them, dude. I
That's
mean,
right. Yeah.
barring some really bad secondary defense, which now makes more sense because now we see Kentucky throwing on Tennessee. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah, and some calls that didn't go Tennessee's way, but but yeah,
Yep.
both teams are coming off of a bye, so let's just assume they both get a little bit better, right? And they both scheme up good game plans against one another. So to me, I still think that LSU is the better overall team. I think that their offense is too hot for Bama to handle. I think that their offense is going to be a lot for Georgia to handle. And I think that Georgia does have a better defense than Alabama, specifically in a matchup against LSU. Georgia's secondary versus LSU's wide receivers. But that's not the game we're talking about. So if Bama does win this game, I think it will be because of another great coaching effort by Nick Saban and his staff to win in this game and in this bye week. I think that they'll have to put together something. He's kind of making lemonade out of a bunch of turds, and he's finding a way to do it. Because they've been pretty bad, this year, and I mean, it's weird because they have the talent, but I don't know, it's just not producing for whatever reason.
That lemonade is nutty.
It's a bit nutty, yeah, I would say. But yeah, so I think that the Tigers are too hot to handle even in Tuscaloosa. It's an 8:00 game. I mean, gosh, I think that's why Alabama's favored. It's really, I think that they have like probably a 4.5, closer to a 4.5 point advantage because it's a night game in Tuscaloosa. Otherwise, I think I think that LSU would be favored in a neutral site, or it might just be a straight up pick 'em. But anyways, I think that this LSU offense is going to travel well, and they're going to play their butts off. It's going to be an emotional game. And I've got LSU winning this game. I think it's going to be LSU 39 and Bama 30. I think that Bama is able to eclipse that 30 mark, but give me the over in this game and give me LSU to cover and win.
Yeah, I think this is, again, this game of college football that we love is all about the matchups. And LSU, as bad as their defense has been, they haven't allowed, a ridiculous amount of rushing yards per game. And I imagine if you take that Ole Miss game out, that number's way lower. So with that being said, Alabama is not running the ball at an effective enough clip to be able to keep this LSU team off the field. Like I said early in the video, Alabama wants to win this game. You're going to have to run for 200 yards, and you're going to have to convert a lot of manageable third downs, and you're going to have to keep this LSU team off the field. And I don't think Alabama's got the offensive line to be able to do that this year. And if there's one strength of this LSU defense, it's their defensive line. They've got a couple of playmakers that can really, if they get on a roll, they can wreak havoc. And if you don't wear them out and lean on them early in the game, then you might be in trouble as the game progresses on. So give me the phony LSU secondary. I'm going to ride with them as much as I don't want to. I'm going to ride with them with the +3. I think the wrong team is favored here. Give me LSU. I would consider it on the money line as well.